Over the last couple weeks, Xbox has been getting kicked while they were down, with the CMA blocking the Activision merger and Redfall's release getting eviscerated by the gaming media. While those two issues haven't really gone away, Xbox players received a much needed win in the form of Coco Cucumber's newest title, Ravenlok. The gorgeous art style, whimsical environments, satisfying exploration, and great pacing made for a refreshing reminder that great games come in all shapes and sizes. The vibrant colors and mystical worlds draw you into this Alice in Wonderland-like adventure and never lets you go. From the jump, you're thrown into a fantasy kingdom where the Queen has stopped time, thus threatening the inhabitants within the world. With little information to go off of, it's your job to explore the world and tackle challenges in order to reach the Queen's castle. The exploration and mission structure was done so beautifully because of how well it's all intertwined together. Most games we play present you with a few missions that you have to tackle before returning to a home base of sorts to acquire more missions. That is not the case with Ravenlok, as you're presented with almost all of the missions within the first 10 minutes of the game. There's no waypoints, no markers, and no obvious hints. While that sounds stressful, it made the experience liberating and extremely immersive. As you go exploring the Mushroom Forest, Labyrinth, Clock Tower, and other stunning environments, you quickly realize what quests apply to the area that you're in. What made these missions engaging was the roadblock moments that force you to pursue other quests in order to complete the initial one. For example, you're tasked with finding a missing painting, and when found, it serves as a portal to another biome. Within that new world is an item needed to continue a separate mission that requires that said item. It leads to these satisfying aha moments that feel genuine and rewarding. While it may sound frustrating to have to backtrack to other missions, the placement of the quests and where they overlap maintain a fluid movement to them that doesn't make it feel like a chore. As you knock each quest off the list and your knowledge of the map grows, you feel your character and the story grow with it too. I love the messages spoken throughout the game about resilience, family, trust, forgiveness, and hope as you try to restore time back to a broken kingdom. The supporting cast of characters had endearing personalities and helped create a small world that felt full of life and character. While you certainly can see and feel the Alice in Wonderland inspiration beaming throughout, Ravenlok carves its own compelling path within a story that could have easily felt too familiar. While exploration and curiosity certainly play the biggest role in the 4-hour-long game, there is a good amount of high-paced combat to mix up the gameplay. What I enjoyed most about the combat was how straightforward and simple it was. You're not thrown a skill tree or more skills than buttons on your controller. Instead, you get a few attacks, a dodge, and a block option. It doesn't sound like much, but because of the lack of options, it makes for each ability to have impact, uniqueness, and high usage. I find that most games give you so many attack options that you end up finding 2 moves that work for you and never change them for the rest of the game. Ravenlok's combat is best compared to a food dish that is delicious with only a few high-quality ingredients. It's not fancy, but damn is it satisfying. The character leveling system and progression is loosely inspired by the Souls series, where you earn spendable XP by defeating opponents. Don't worry, you will not be losing any of your hard-earned XP, which feels well aligned with the overall combat difficulty or lack thereof within Ravenlok. My only gripe about the combat is that the enemies are pretty easy to kill, and the combat difficulty never felt like it spiked higher than a medium-low difficulty. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it is a combat that can be completed via button mashing. One spin zone for the difficulty is that Ravenlok would be a wonderful game to play with kids because of its forgiveness. I absolutely loved the set-piece monster ambushes that were quite abundant to my pleasant surprise. Each boss had their own set of fight mechanics, attacks, and environments that put a smile on my face every time they appeared, that it made the difficulty all that more forgivable. Overall, Ravenlok was a joyful ride through a fantasy world that made me feel like a kid again. From the fantastic world building to memorable boss fights to satisfying exploration, there is a ton to love in this game. While the combat never left my palms sweaty, the satisfaction of finding key items to pursue the wretched queen trumps anything that the combat is missing. With a short playtime of 3 to 4 hours, it's a no-brainer, can't-miss game for Xbox and Game Pass players with a score of a 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed the video, please tap the like button as it helps me out tremendously. If you don't want to miss out on future news, reviews, and playthroughs, go ahead and say hi to the subscribe button as well. This is Josh Robinson with Joystick Gamer. Thank you for watching, and stay gaming out there.